Today, we're going to learn a bit more about what makes a great online sales counselor by speaking with Charla McCarty of Elite Homes, who received the Gold Award for Online Sales Counselor from the National Association of Home Builders, the Nationals. Obviously, this past year has been big for virtual sales, right? And for online home buying. First, I want to kind of hear from you. How has that demand affected your work as OSC? And would you say it's made your position that much more important?
Most definitely, most definitely. We had, at the beginning of the year, we most likely had around 60% came from me, appointments to sales came from me. But by the end of the year, it was definitely closer to 80, 90% that actually came from me. Um, so it was a big difference, definitely different.
Mhm. Mhm. Were there any strategies that you kind of implemented, once this volume started getting so high to kind of help you manage everything?
A lot of times I talk to people quite a bit, and I answer possibly more questions than what I should answer, but more or less I was going towards why don't we get you into the to see the manager, the sales manager a lot quicker. And we were doing virtual appointments as well. So it was easy to set people up with those.
As Elite Homes online sales counselor, you're that first point of contact, obviously, right? So your position is starting to build that trust between Elite Homes and the home buyer. So, what are some of the things that you do or keep in mind to make that good first impression?
So that goes along with me answering more questions than what I probably should. And I just keep it more of a conversation than asking a question, wait for him to answer, asking a question. So if you make it more of a conversation instead of, a bunch of questions that you're asking that you want them to answer, it just makes people more comfortable.
So, in your nomination for the Nationals, it was stated that your past life has granted you amazing sleuthing skills that you translate over to home sales. So, can you talk to me more about this past life and how you apply those skills as an OSC?
Yeah, so my entire background was in criminal justice. I was a probation officer and I was in the prosecutor's office as an investigator. So that was one place that I definitely learned how to talk to people. And I mean, with respect and everything, talking to people. So I feel like knowing people and how they react and listening to how people talk and things like that, you know which direction to go. And I might possibly look people up on Facebook or social media while I'm talking to them. There's a little possibility that I might do that, but yeah, that would come into it too.
And so tell me why do you think that helps, being able to maybe, look more into who this person you're talking to, how does that help you in your job?
I feel like it helps me build rapport with them. And once I build rapport, I mean, they're going to trust me more to be able to talk to me about what they're actually looking for, what they don't want, because a lot of people will go into looking for houses and they don't really want to tell you what they want or what their budget is or any of that stuff. So if I can get them to at least open up a little bit, actually tell me what they want, then I can send them to the right place in the beginning without them, going to the wrong community or looking at the wrong product or something like that.
For an online sales counselor who doesn't have the same experience as you, how might they be able to become more attuned with the energy buyers are giving you?
There's definitely little cues that people do, and you can pick them up longer that you talk to them. For example, there was somebody that I was talking to, and we were talking about lot pricing, and every time he said, "Okay," it was almost like, "Okay, that's a little bit too much." So I would talk about the ones that are a little cheaper, and he was like, "Okay," you know. So it's just little cues in their behavior.
Also, in your nomination, it says your appointments come out to a 34% appointment to sales ratio, which makes up 70% of the company's sales. So, can you tell me a little bit more? Besides the things we just talked about, what strategies do you use to garner such results?
So after I make the appointment, I will send a verification email to them. And then the day of their appointment, I'll give them a call just to make sure that they're, reminded of the appointment. And then our sales counselors, who are amazing, they also follow up with the customer before the appointment. So I feel like my sales managers do help me out in keeping those appointments as well.
There was something else mentioned as well, and you're very personal with, trying to reach out, and I saw something about maybe personalized videos or a certain number of communication points that you like to kind of stick to. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Oh, the videos are fun. So I will send people videos, and that's definitely what I get the most response from because they are personalized. I'll hold up a little sign and all of that. And a lot of people like that. If I haven't heard from somebody in a while, I'll just send them a random video, and they will usually respond, even if it's with a no. I'll even take a no. I'll at least know not to, keep going down that route. But the videos definitely help the most. The phone calls help a lot. And we have a big variation of young buyers, older buyers, and a lot of times some people just don't check their emails. So just sending just emails is not going to work.
If someone isn't responding to you, right, for a while, what's the type of video you kind of send them?
I will go out to the model homes and send videos from the models. Especially if I have talked to them briefly about what they're looking for, I might go into the model that I think they would like the most and show them some of the features. It's still a short, very short video, probably under a minute, but I just sort of try to hit on things that they mentioned that were important to them, or I try to hit on things as to why they're wanting to move. Say if they wanted a bigger office or an office, I'll show them the office kind of thing and sort of remind them as to why they're looking to move.
So when it comes to being an online sales counselor, we're talking about, you're really trying to understand the buyer who's talking to you, kind of feed off their energy. You're trying to do certain touch points to kind of keep up that communication. Are there any other strategies that you have found that have worked really well for you?
I think just the fast pace of it all. So if somebody requests information, you want to reach out to them then and there. If you wait to reach out to them, you may come in contact with them again, but it is just so much harder to bring them back in if you wait. So, I mean, if I get a notification that somebody's requesting information, I'm most likely calling within 2 minutes. I mean, unless it's, midnight or something. But yeah, it's the pace that you greet people and things like that. Because if you talk to somebody really fast, they're like, wow, thanks for reaching out so fast.
Do you have any advice for other online sales counselors out there?
Well, I think this is a job where you have to determine where your job starts and stops and your life starts and stops because you can definitely get burned out quite easy. Um, so it's definitely a position that you want to help people because that is definitely by far the best part where they're a lot more comfortable and happy and knowledgeable. They'll be able to get through the process a lot easier. It's just it's a work-life balance, but I feel like the payoff is definitely worth it. Definitely worth it.
And what about builders? Is there anything builders should know about how to make sure their OSCs have the resources to be successful?
There's so much training out there. I also went to Phoenix, Arizona, and trained with Mike Lyon, which was a really good training. So if you just seek out those trainings that the builders actually have to work with you, your bosses have to work with you and want to push you to get better and everything. And I'm super lucky that I work for people that do, because if I find any sort of training, they're like, go. So there is training out there. You just have to look for it.
What kind of educational resources have you used that you think have kind of given you the most payback?
Well, I do shop other online sales counselors. Um, so I will request information and I'll just let them send me all their stuff. And it's not like I copy it or anything like that, but I'll be like, oh, well, that's a great idea, because I do see other people's videos and I see people that do things that I'm like, well, I definitely don't want to do that, or I definitely do want to do that, because it's sometimes you run out of ideas, for things like opening new communities. And there's just so many different things that we do as online sales counselors that you don't really think about. And then once you're newer, it's sort of hard. You're like, well, what do I do? And then I do have the resource of Do You Convert and Blue Gypsy. And it's great to be able to fall back on that as well, because the continuing education from both of them has helped me tremendously. And it's just, I feel like the management within builders, that's what makes this position successful. I mean, believe me, I do work very hard, but I do think that management and how they handle this exact position is going to make it successful or not. If you realize how many more sales you can by using an online sales counselor and actually using them correctly, it can make your business much better and stronger all throughout. So shout out to the management.
Yeah.
Love it.